Yo, hi. This is a different video than the kind of thing that I usually make, but I wanted to talk about it because it's a thing that's very special to me. Like, this is a very reactionary kind of video and not the type of thing that I usually make. I'm being repetitive. I'm not going off a script for this one. I just wanted to take some time to talk about Giant Size Spider-Man. Giant Size Spider-Man is a big, as the title suggests, I guess, this is a bigger issue of the usual Spider-Man run, specifically Miles Morales Spider-Man. I don't know if the fact that they just called it Spider-Man, that, this could have to do with anyone that holds that title. I don't know if the next issue is going to be about Peter or whatever, but point is, the Spider-Man that this issue right now is talking about is Miles Morales. And I'm very, very excited for this issue. I admittedly haven't been keeping up that much with Miles's current run by Cody Ziglar, but from what I have read of it, and I've read the first arc, I think it was called Trial by Spider. I picked it up at a Barnes & Noble while hanging out with a friend one day. Yeah, that's, besides the point, though. I read it, and I really like it. I think Cody Ziglar has, a very good understanding of the character of Spider-Man. And it has, good drama between Miles and his supporting cast, and I like his new mentor in Misty Knight. I like the new, I like the new villain that he introduced, Rabble. I think that was her name. I really like her. I do kind of think that, they were kind of trying to have the Tinkerer from the Insomniac games be a thing in the comics without actually bringing in the Tinkerer, because, the Tinkerer in the games is Finn Mason, and they already have Phineas Mason, and, that would be confusing. Not as if, the very fact that we have, tens of thousands of Spider-Men and Venoms running around, that's not confusing, but whatever. Good luck, newbies. But yeah, point is, it was really good, and I'm very excited to see more of Cody Ziglar's take on Spider-Man with this, and especially because he is going to be fighting Venom. Miles Morales is finally going to have his own Venom. If you know anything about me as a Spider-Man fan, and just as a fan of fiction in general, I am a huge fan of the Spider-Man versus Venom dynamic. I am a huge fan of that rivalry. And it, cemented my taste in dark rival characters. It cemented my taste in supervillains. And it is what made Venom my favorite supervillain, specifically in the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon and the Ultimate Spider-Man game and the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. I grew up with a lot of Spider-Man content where he fought Venom. And for a long time, Spider-Man hasn't had a Venom to fight. More specifically, Peter Parker. Peter has had this thing called character development, at least in regards to his relationship with the symbiote and Eddie Brock. In other things, character development has kind of slowed down to a halt, and has regressed in various ways. Please save us, Greg Weisman. And Eddie Brock has gone through just as much, if not more, development in the years since him and Peter were enemies in the books. And since then, they've gotten two new legacy characters that have taken on their mantles in Miles Morales as Spider-Man and Dylan Brock as Venom. Yeah, the Venom that Miles is going to be facing off against is not Eddie Brock, and I am very thankful for that for two reasons. For one, I don't want Eddie Brock to be beefing with a little kid that he doesn't know. And for another, I really don't want, what was his name? Conrad Marcus? Put his name on screen if that's untrue, but or don't. No one cares about him. Conrad Marcus, I think that was his name, was the only Venom that Miles has ever faced, like, for a story arc that was about him. Because Miles has fought Eddie, like early on in the Donny Cates Venom run, he fought Eddie, because Miles was going through a post-traumatic stress moment, after seeing, like, Eddie, like, on a building and stuff, because, you know, his Venom, Conrad Marcus, killed his mother, in the original Ultimate Universe. So it was, like, on site, like, it was on site. Miles just, like, assaulted Eddie. But aside from that, Miles hasn't really had his own Venom to deal with, and definitely not a Venom that is interesting. Like, Conrad Marcus is boring. He's nobody. And Eddie Brock, that was just, like, a little scuffle. Now, last year, Miles had a huge event dedicated to him facing off against Carnage. And yeah, there were other characters there, like Red Goblin and Iron Man, but, you know that if you... What the fuck happened to my... Okay, my screen, like went black, and I was afraid that, like, my battery went out. Thank God it didn't. But, yeah, like, that event, like, if you were going there, you wanted to see Miles fight Carnage. You weren't there to see Iron Man or Red Goblin fight Carnage. You were going there to see Miles. And while that was all well and good, and I'm glad that Miles has gotten a chance to get a real dig at Carnage, especially after that Absolute Carnage plot line that was dropped involving Miles. It's very nice to see him actually get, like, a shot at Carnage, but if I were to pick a symbiote villain for Miles to truly fight against, I don't think I would choose Carnage. And the reason for that is because I feel there's no like personal connection there. There's not like a good, like, rivalry, like true rivalry going on there. As opposed to Peter Parker with Venom and Ben Reilly with Cletus Cassidy. I do want Miles to have his own symbiote villain to fight. It is a rite of passage as a Spider-Man. You have to fight a big slimy alien monster. Everyone has done it. Peter Parker did it. Miguel O'Hara has done it. Ben Reilly did it. Gwen Stacy did it. A bunch of Peter Parkers across the multiverse have done it. It is a rite of passage. You need to have a symbiote rival. It needs to happen. You can't just not. And Miles is finally getting his own, and I'm really glad that it is like someone that is of his own generation, like of his own generation of characters that he's, like, grown up in, like alongside Amadeus Cho as Hulk, Kamala Khan as Ms. Marvel, Riri Williams as Ironheart, and all the other, like, characters that are involved in the new, younger generation of Marvel heroes and villains. I'm really glad that he's getting his own Venom to fight. This is his rival, and his alone, and I am very happy about that. And now, this isn't going to be like Peter and Eddie. This will never be Peter and Eddie, and I'm really glad about that, honestly, because I don't want it to be like Peter. If Miles is going to have his own Venom, it has to be like an original dynamic, and from what I know of Dylan Brock, it is going to be really hard to have the original dynamic that Peter and Eddie had, because Dylan Brock's whole thing, from what I've seen, I haven't actually read his run as Venom yet, and I honestly don't really plan to for a while. The whole cosmic direction that they've taken Venom's comics isn't precisely for me, but I am interested. I am at the very least interested in seeing where that leads. And I'm not saying that it's bad, by the way, Venom fans. Before you grab your pitchforks and impale me on a stake, whatever the hell I just said. I'm not saying that the new Venom stuff is bad. It's just not personally for me. But yeah, I from what I've researched about Dylan Brock and what I know about him is that he is trying not to be Eddie Brock. He is trying to not be his dad. He wants a different upbringing as Venom than he had. And yeah, so I think with that kind of setup, it's already going to be really hard for Dylan to have the same thing with Miles as Eddie had with Peter, which is good. Again, I don't want these two to have the same dynamic as their predecessors. Peter and Eddie had this like thing where Eddie like always knew precisely how to fuck with Peter. Eddie was everywhere at the same time. He was constantly stalking Peter and figuring out ways to like mess with him. Just so like even if Eddie wasn't like physically battling him, he was always mentally battling Peter by showing up in places where he's not supposed to be, maybe pushing him in the way of train tracks, like when he's just like in his civilian clothes, just as Peter Parker. He would just try to drive Peter crazy, and that is what I really liked about their dynamic. Eddie always knew exactly how to make Peter just go crazy, and I love that about them. Now, Dylan is obviously not the type of person that would do that sort of thing, so I'm wondering what kind of rivalry that they're going to have, and more importantly, I hope that this sticks. I don't want this to just be a thing that gets resolved in like one issue. I don't want yeah, they're devoting like a lot of time to this in this giant size issue of Spider-Man, but I really hope that this isn't just a one-time thing. My biggest hope is that Venom becomes the Shadow the Hedgehog or Vegeta to Miles's Sonic the Hedgehog or Goku. And from what I've seen of later issues of Cody Ziegler's Miles run, there's already quite a bit of shonen anime influence there. So if they do go the route of making Dylan Venom like Miles's Sasuke, then I'm very down for that. I'm so excited that we are getting the Spider-Man and Venom rivalry back without undoing the development that Peter and Eddie have had with each other throughout like the years that they've been around. And also I heard that Dylan doesn't like Spider-Man, at least he didn't. I very clearly remember seeing this panel where he calls Peter a menace. So I wonder if there's going to be like moral dilemmas between Miles and Dylan or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Point is, I'm just really excited, and also it is very cool that this is coming out the same day as Ultimate Spider-Man, the new run of Ultimate Spider-Man. I'm very excited for that too, and if I started talking about that like this video would be like 10 times as long because I have so much to say about that already. But yeah, I'm super excited about this. I don't know if this video is gonna get that many views. I don't really care, honestly. I just wanted to sit here and talk about this because the battles that Spider-Man and Venom have had throughout the years have been very like formative for me, like in terms of my creative development, and like it is what cemented Eddie Brock Venom during that one point in his time as my favorite supervillain. So I'm really excited to see a new take on this rivalry. So yeah, we are so back. We are so back. I am so excited. Yeah, pick up this comic, please. If you're a Spider-Man fan, please do it. Do it. You gotta. Oh, man, I'm pumped. I don't really know how to end this episode. Whatever this is. I don't know how to end this. Oh, wait. I know exactly how to do that. The same way I end every other thing that I actually put some sort of effort into. On a